Welcome to My Time to Shine. I'm your host, Emily.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a lovely smiley guest with us. We have Jen. She is an Ironman, a mum and a coach as well. And I'm sure there's many more things to that we don't know yet. So Jen, if you'd like to do a little introduction of yourself as to what you do and who you are.
By trade, I'm a speech and language therapist is my original background.
Yeah.
Work with children, and that's kind of my day job really. But have recently, fairly recently, come into the triathlon world and absolutely fell in love with it, and really kind of saved my life in a bit of a way. Got into the triathlon world and have since taken up coaching as an Ironman certified coach, which is amazing, and being able to help others. So I do the two jobs alongside each other for a bit of variety, which is quite nice.
Oh, right. Is that full time you're being a therapist then?
It used to be, yes, it was to start with. But I recently dropped a couple of days so I can do coaching alongside it as the coaching is going so well. So yeah, I've got a bit of a nice mix between them.
Oh, that sounds, you sound very busy.
It is quite busy, yeah. And with training for Ironmans and being a mum, it's a bit of
Yeah,
a whirlwind. But
yeah,
life's short, isn't it? So you've just got to embrace it whilst you can and go for things whilst you can.
exactly. How many children have you got?
So I've just got one little girl. So she's
Oh,
6 years old.
6. Oh, that's like the prime age where they've got loads of energy and like,
Yeah,
yeah.
energy and already talking about Christmas and all of
Oh
these
God,
types of things. So
a to list. Yeah, a Christmas list.
she's already started her list. So we're already on that for sure.
Oh. I want to go back to your journey into Ironman because you said it saved you, and I would love for you to tell our listeners your incredible journey of, what inspired you to do your first one.
Yeah, I used to swim as a kid. I used to do, swim lessons and things. But then I hadn't really swam at all. And then I got into running when I met my husband at university, and I had done the London Marathon, which was amazing. And always found that running really helped me kind of clear my head and after work come out for a run, and it always helped. But then had my little girl, which I'd always wanted children. I work with kids, I love children, so thought definitely. But then really massively struggled after she was born. It was very different to what I was expecting. The birth was quite traumatic in that she got stuck and I was being whipped down for surgery. And so there was a lot that happened there. And thankfully she came and she was all okay and everything was fine. But then, everybody said about baby blues and how, it's just the baby blues, it's just the baby blues. But I never really snapped out of the baby blues at all. It just snowballed and got worse and worse and worse, and built up to the point where I was struggling leaving my house. It was affecting my relationship with my husband because I just had this overwhelming feeling that I wasn't good enough for her, that she deserved a better mum. And, obviously babies cry, that's what they do. But every time she cried, I massively internalized that it was my fault and that I'd caused it. And these thoughts just absolutely spiraled out of control, really. It got kind of worse and worse. But again, I went to the doctors and they were like, no, that's just part of being a mum. And the health visitors said it as well. They were like, yeah, that's part of being a mum. You've got to just carry on. And it just got really, really bad. And it wasn't until I finally managed to actually see a female doctor, and nothing against male doctors at all. They know their stuff. But this one female doctor said to me, Jen, have you ever thought you might have postnatal depression? And I was like, no, I definitely not. Like, because I always thought that postnatal depression was not having that bond and that link and that relationship with your child. which I absolutely did. I loved her to pieces. I didn't want to be apart from her. And so I said, no, it can't be that. And she said, well, no, postnatal depression can manifest in completely different ways. And what you're describing to me, it could well be postnatal depression. And after the trauma of the birth and all the anxiety building up, it very much, I feel that it might be that. And it kind of, hit me for sick, really, because I was thinking, no, it can't be that. But then a light bulb went off and I was like, oh, actually, yes, that would answer a lot of questions about how I just completely changed into this different person who was anxious leaving the house. And I could cover it in front of people, but then I'd come back to the house and I would really massively struggle. And so managed to, they offered me counselling in a group of 50 people online, which was not helpful. It was COVID at the time, so a lot of NHS support unfortunately wasn't available. And for me, I was like, I can't do that. I can't sit on screen with 50 other people and talk about how I'm feeling at all. So that wasn't really an option. I did go on antidepressants, which massively helped. But it was actually my husband who said to me, he was like, Jen, used to find that running really helped prior to having our daughter. And I know a lot of people were like, wow, your husband's quite mean in terms of sending you out for a run. But actually, it was the best thing that he did for me, because he gave me the time, obviously, kind of having a little one. He let me kind of have the time to go out and run. And I couldn't run at all to start with, obviously, just having, kind of previously had a baby and I hadn't done much exercise. But started running just for kind of 2 minutes, and then I do a bit of a walk, and then I did another 2 minutes, and then I just said to myself, I need a goal, I need a challenge, so something that I can work towards and keep me pushing me to get out when I'm struggling. Triathlon had kind of always appealed to me, but I'd never done anything like it, and I just went, stuff it, I'm just going to book Ironman 70.3. So that and the rest is history. It all went on from there.
How long did you give yourself?
So I'd never ridden a road bike, and so I got my road bike, my husband really nicely bought me for Christmas. And then I did Weymouth Ironman, so the September, I think it was, after that. So 9 months I got going with it. So I'd never ridden a road bike, fell off a number of times. The cleats scared me to death. Thankfully, the guy, when we went and bought my bike, the guy said, I'm not letting you take this bike without having clip-in pedals, which I hated him at the time, but I'm very glad that he said that, because it definitely helped me. I'd swam as a kid, but I'd never sea swam at all. And it genuinely, just having that time to get out and clear my head, I found that I was like taking control of things again and could help my anxiety. And it just changed everything.
Gosh, like, wow, 9 months. Let's give you a clap. Like, wow. So how long postpartum were you when you sort of said, right, an Ironman is exactly what I need to do?
Well, I think I kind of been using it. So it was probably a year afterwards that I started thinking about it, and then 2 years afterwards that I was like, let's just go for it. But I had been doing, as I said, got out to do a bit of running and before that, and I built it up a little bit, so I ended up going out running with the buggy.
That's
because actually
amazing.
it was one of the only things that helps my little girl to stop crying. It was very slow to start with. It was, as I say, just 2 minutes run and then a little bit of a walk, and and then we would just go out running together in the buggy.
That is just so incredible. And I want to just tell our listeners, because I know we have some other mums listening, running with a buggy is really bloody hard.
It is, yeah. I think it depends where you go. So luckily, like the pavements around where we lived were actually nice and smooth, which helps
Okay,
a lot.
no potholes.
Yeah, definitely. And I signed up. Something that did also really helped was I signed up to do our local buggy fit class as well. So
Amazing.
that was a big push. I had to really push myself to get out to those, and I spent a number of times sat in the car and I didn't get out to go because I was so nervous and just the anxiety again building up. But that was brilliant because I met other mums who, they were going through things that were similar, and
Yeah.
I could see that, oh, their baby's crying too, and it's not just mine. And yeah, so that really helped doing just getting back into the exercise.
Oh my goodness. And what a turnaround, because it's incredible to hear your story, it really is, because you only see, what people post on Instagram, and you don't realize what you've been through, because now, you've qualified for Kona World Championships. Like, that is bloody fantastic. And to go through all that, because this is something that it's very close to me recently, because I'm afraid to go out on the road on my bike. I want to do an
Yeah.
Ironman, and it's really reassuring to hear that someone's been through exactly what you're going through right now, and I'm sure many of our listeners can relate to that as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I loved is the triathlon community is it can be quite intimidating when you start off because there's a lot of technical jargon and there's a lot of words out there that I still don't understand. But actually, on a whole, the triathlon community are so helpful and so lovely. And I think it is still quite a male orientated sport,
Yeah.
sadly, but I think it's getting a lot more female orientated, and there's a load of amazing groups that that I've learned about since, and that have really helped me. And I'm now doing some volunteer work with Women in Tri,
Oh, wow.
which is a fantastic charity who actually support women in getting into triathlon. So if there's women out there who are thinking, I want to have a go, then don't be afraid, and Women in Tri is a great place to start. And there's other cycling brands like Ride Luca. She's a female uh, a lady who has created a female-only cycling clothing brand, and
Oh,
she's got a
brilliant.
whole community as well. So she does the whole community aspect. So she does female bike rides every week, and I think there's a lot more of those coming out. So I think it's on the turn, and it's a lot more open and kind of female friendly to help women get back in or start in the world of triathlon.
Yeah, I think a big name as well is Lucy Charles Barkley. She seems to
Absolutely.
be
Yeah.
pushing out there now, and she's got the battle braids going on and all that. I
Yeah.
can never braid my hair. Just
I try, but I end up with the worst shoulder ache, and I'm like, this is not good before a triathlon, before an Ironman. I need my shoulders to be okay. But yeah, so I need to
you
train my
can
husband how to do
literally
them.
have your arm up. Like, yeah, it's painful. Speaking of that, like hair tips. So, okay, you see it constantly with the female runners, and especially now in triathlon as well. What's the best thing to do with your hair? Could you just come out, and if it's in a bobble, it comes out in a frizz, or like, what do you do with yours?
I mean, I did a post on my Instagram the other week because I'd been for a swim and I didn't wear a swim hat.
Right.
And literally, my husband was having to stand in the shower with me and brush out because it was literally like it had been backcombed with. It was awful. So I still haven't got the magic answer. I would definitely say, even if you can't French plait it, though, plait it,
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
try and keep it in. And although the swim hats aren't the most sexy thing in the world, they definitely help your hair for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of the swim hats. I
Yeah.
went for a swim with my dad the other day, and he's done Ironman before, and he's like, "Why the hell are you wearing a swim hat?" And I'm like, "You haven't got hair, like, come on."
Yeah, definitely. I think for women, and yeah, you just need as much help as you can get for your
Yeah.
hair because it's a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, definitely. And even kind of when you go out running, and if it's throwing it down with rain and windy, it's like the state of my hair when I get back. So classing it again is the only way I've found.
Another question actually that I know I have and so many other women have are during the Ironman events, there's two things that seem to come up all the time. Number one is the toilet situation. Like, can you actually go to the loo in an Ironman? And number two, for women especially, is when it's your cycle, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, you can't wear a pad.
No, so people do different things, and I've seen all manner of things out on an Ironman course. And I know in Leeds recently, when I did like Leeds Ironman, there was a lot of controversy because there were a lot of guys who were just having a wee along the side of the road, but they actually got penalised for that. A lot of them did get penalised for it, so I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. But no, there are toilets. They're towards the end of an Ironman race. I would say they aren't the nicest of places, and yeah, they're not ideal. But I did actually, for the first time ever in Leeds, they had a female only toilet, a female only portaloo, which was incredible. They had sanitary towels in there, tampons in there for women, and they actually had toilet paper. And as far as portaloos go on an Ironman, they were pretty fresh and quite clean. So yeah, there's loads of toilets around. I know some people are able to swim and wee whilst they're swimming.
Keep it
And
warm.
yeah, and some people do pee on the bike. I've never been able to do that because I just get the fear factor and the nerves of who's behind me. So yeah, I normally use the portaloos, and I think Ironman did really well in Leeds with having kind of that female only portaloo, and it was the first time ever, I think, that there was a men's queue and there was no women's queue. It was brilliant.
Wow. I mean, you don't see that, do you? Like, it's always the women who are queuing for hours, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
incredible. How was Leeds? Because that's the one that I sort of that I want to do, not next year, but the year after. And I've heard from everyone, like all the vloggers, oh, it's really hard. It's hard.
It is hard. Like, I won't
Wow.
sugarcoat it. It's a difficult course. I mean, the swim is fine. It's a lake, so you haven't got the tides, you haven't got the waves. It was pretty brown and murky, and the amount of swans and ducks on there, I'm not sure how clean it was, but as a swim, it was great because it's 2 laps. And you can have spectators basically the whole way around. So no matter where you were on the lake, you could always see crowds and hear the cheers. And
Oh.
the bike course was pretty brutal. I mean, yeah, it's not an easy one, but Black Hill, which is the main hill, which I think everybody talks about when they think about Leeds, I will say I never experienced an atmosphere like it. I mean, you can see a lot of the videos and people's YouTube clips of the crowds up there, and every time I rode up, I had a person, some randomer next to me who was literally right, like running up next to me and like just screaming, "Go, you could do it! You've got this!" And yeah, it was the best atmosphere for sure. And the same with the run. The run again, it's not easy because it is quite hilly. More so than kind of I think people were expecting. And it's 4 laps, so you can see family so much all over the route, and it's pretty cool because you can, like, where the finish line is, it's kind of in a valley, so you can just hear like Joanne Murphy was on the mic, and you could just hear her voice like echoing round. So I would definitely say the Northern spirit was there. So being a southerner, we don't always experience that, but the Northern spirit of the crowds was just incredible. It was brilliant. It's so motivating and so inspiring. So yeah, it's hard, but I would recommend it for everybody as a course. Go for it.
What do you say is your favourite one? Because how many Ironmans have you done?
So I've done 5
Five.
full.
Five full Ironmans. Wow.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
s- so yeah, it's hard because they all have their bits that you love. I mean, I went, so in 2023, was when I did my first Ironman, and that was in Hamburg. And as part of that, on the Ironman application form, they always say, like, why are you racing? And so I said, this is my first Ironman. I did a 70.3 following postnatal depression. I've just continued it forward to help. And it I was really taken aback because they asked whether they could film me for a Humans of Hocker documentary to share my story. And then, yeah, one thing kind of led to another and it all built up. And I ended up from that going to the World Championships in Kona back in 2023 because it was the first female only World Championships.
Yes, yeah.
Um, and the Ironman Foundation, which a lot of people don't know about, actually, they are kind of the charity arm of Ironman. But the foundation were wanting to take 30 women to Kona who wouldn't necessarily qualify.
Wow.
All of us had a story. So mine was mental health, but they had people like Adrian Bunn, she was actually the youngest female to ever complete an Ironman
Wow.
that year, and has a diagnosis of autism. There was also, there was a lady who's riding with multiple sclerosis, Ashley Norton, and so there was a whole group of us that went
Awesome.
to raise awareness for women. And so, yeah, I would say my favourite race is it has to be Kona. It's one of the most incredible experiences, not just because of the place. It's mind blowing in terms of the place. You're swimming along with the most beautiful fish underneath you, and the turtles aren't that far away, and then you're cycling through the lava fields. But it's just the atmosphere, the Hawaiian life, and how they embrace Ironman and where it all started is just next to none. It's brilliant.
What was that documentary called that you were in?
So it's also Hoka, the shoe trainer brand. They
Yes.
do what's called Humans of Hoka. So they do like they're short little kind of personalized stories, if you like, to share different people's stories. So yeah, it's on YouTube, so yeah, you can go and watch it if you want to, the full
Yeah.
stories there.
Oh, I
And
lovely.
yeah, again, I was like, oh no, like, I don't think I've got a story, but they were like, no, you
Oh,
do, in terms of helping women and supporting those who are mums and getting back into sport.
yeah. I think that's a really big, it's a big gift, a big blessing, and a big responsibility as well, because there is a lot of taboo, around girls in sport, especially in school, but mothers in sport, it's a big thing because you don't see that many like pro level athletes or high level athletes as mothers still doing it. There are some now, but it's just a recent thing that they've kind of been
Mm.
supported through it. But yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, and I think again, it's that getting better.
Yeah.
You've got like Chelsea Sodaro, who's kind of well publicised her story of again postnatal depression and her having her little girl, and seeing the clips of her coming across the finish line and her little girl in Kona giving her a hug were just
Oh,
incredible.
wow.
And yeah, there's more and more, but understandably, for women, if you're a mum, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really not easy, and I'm very fortunate that my husband is so supportive of what I do and encourages me and pushes me. He's away a lot, so it's a real juggle with work and childcare. But I kind of turned my garage into a bit of a pain cave again, inspired by Lucy Charles Barkley. It's
Yeah.
not up to her standard, but I've got my turbo, so I have the baby monitor, and then kind of so I can keep an eye while she's in bed, and I'm like, it's better for me mentally. It's a lot
Mhm.
better that I can sit on the turbo and watch something trashy on telly rather than just sitting and watching something trashy on telly, and that's not so good for my mental health. So it's a juggle, but it can definitely be done. And I would, yeah, encourage anybody to just give it a go in terms of, getting out for a 2-minute run with the buggy or something like that. It does help.
Yeah. What was your biggest struggle on your way so far?
In Ironman or in being a mum?
Anything, anything, both.
Um, Biggest struggle, I think being a mum, it was definitely the overwhelming feeling for me that I wasn't good enough and I wasn't doing a good enough job. And that actually, you know, that my family would be better off if I wasn't here. That was kind of, yeah, the biggest struggle in terms of mentally dealing with that. And, I could tell myself and talk myself out and say, no, of course, that's, you know, stupid and that's not true. But at my worst, that's definitely how I felt and what I believed. And yeah, that's yeah, it was just kind of a really dark place that was a real battle and struggle. But yeah, I'm so fortunate that I have a great husband who he could have run a mile and I wouldn't have blamed him if he ran a mile at that point. But he massively helped me through it. And yeah, kind of encouraged me into sport, and that's what saved me, as I say. In
Oh.
Ironman, the biggest struggle, I think, is again the mental battle. I would say it's that mental of talking. Still now I stand on, ready to go for a long workout, and I'm like, I can't do it, I can't do it, and at the start of races, I still have my wobble where I'm still in tears going, I can't do it. My husband's like, Jen, come on, you've done this so many times. You're fine. You've got this. And it's, yeah, mentally, it's true. Like, if you tell yourself you can do it, you
Yeah.
can keep going for sure. And I think that's the same with everything in life. It's how you choose to kind of think about it. And definitely, if I could have sat there and gone, no, this is it now, this is my life, I'm going to stay here. But if you can, and as hard as it is, if you can have that positive saying over and over in your head, then yeah, you can get through anything. And I think in a way, like, it was such a horrible time, but
Mm.
actually it's made me who I am today, and it's made me so much tougher than I was beforehand. And the old me pre having my little girl would never have been able to complete an Ironman. I wouldn't have had the determination and that kind of mental ability to just say, no, you can just keep taking one more step, one more step. And me and my little girl actually have a bit of a little bit of a thing, but in Frozen, which typical little girl, she loves
Oh. Yeah.
but there's a part where Anna sings about taking a step, then just one more step, and
Yeah.
that's massively our little thing that we say to each other. And she'll say to me, Mummy, when your run's getting hard, just take another step. And yeah, that's what I start channeling my inner Anna.
That is
um
gorgeous.
but she says it too, like, I say
Oh.
it to her when she's struggling with stuff. And yeah, it's our little tagline that gets us through.
Oh, that is just so precious. I love that. Does she come and watch you in your races?
Yeah, so she has it. She didn't come to Kona, and she's not coming to Kona this year. It's such a long way, and obviously it's school, but she's been to all of my other races, and yeah, I can often hear her before I can see her,
Yeah.
because she's just screaming, "Go, mummy, go!" at the top of her voice. So yeah, and I have the mum guilt of,
Yeah.
this is a long day, and, she's out, like, is she okay? Is she going to enjoy it? But,
Oh.
like, my family who come, they're like, no, she loves it. She's cheering everybody on. She loves the high fives and, seeing people doing it. And, yeah, I think actually for her seeing it, it's good motivation for her to keep going when she's finding things hard.
Oh, I think that's exactly it, really. We are our children's biggest role model. They look at us like we're like superheroes and
Yeah.
unconditional love that comes from them. It's overwhelming, Just you look like I've got two sons and I look at them like, God, they love me so much. Like, what did I do to deserve that unconditional?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's big and scary and motivational at the same time. Like, would you say, your daughter's one of your reasons why to push on?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, in Kona, in 2023, I stitched her initials into my bike shorts, and because I was like, I want her. She's not here in Kona with us, but she's and in person with us, but she is, she is here with me, and she is my biggest motivation. And because actually, people say, oh, Jen, you're addicted to it, and I possibly, yeah, I am addicted to it, but if there is that actually, if I didn't look after myself and do that kind of workout, then I don't know where I'd be. And hopefully I've come along enough to be out of it. But
Wow.
actually all of it I do for her, because it makes me a better mum. It makes me more happy. It kind of keeps me sane. I go out, have a little bit of me time, and then I come back. And actually, I know a lot of mums who are starting to do fitness and things, they have that mum guilt of, well, it's time away from my family. And I totally get that. And I still feel that. But actually just you investing that little bit of time and putting you first. And I had a guest, because I do a podcast as well called The Toughest Finish Line, which is, sorry, plug for the podcast there.
I'm going to listen now.
Thank you. But that's all about sharing other people's stories who have been through challenging situations, and use their experiences to come through a sporting challenge, hence The Toughest Finish Line. But one of the guests actually said that her one bit of advice for helping somebody through is just to say to invest a bit of time in you. And that there are times in life where you will need to put you first, and that doesn't mean to say that you forget everybody else and leave things, but actually investing that little bit of time in you then can make you a better person, whether it's better in the office or better in whatever your job is or better in your family. And I was like, yes, actually, I really believe that just investing that little bit of you time makes you a much happier person, which in turn helps everybody else.
100%. I can totally relate to that. Yeah, 100%. I think definitely for me, like exercise, movement, and now triathlon, very new. But yeah, I think when you get moving, it's like it is the most positive addiction you could possibly have, rather than food or alcohol, or there's much worse things that you could be addicted to. So I think it's a very positive thing.
Yeah, definitely. You could be addicted to telly or drink or drugs or whatever, but actually, if you're doing your fitness, then I don't see the harm in that at all. And it's definitely, as I say, saved me, and still to this day makes me a better person, I think.
Yeah. I want to talk about Kona because you've
Yeah.
you've qualified, haven't you? So tell
Yeah.
us
So,
about that
yeah.
and
So,
what
I mean,
that is. Because I think there's a lot of listeners who maybe they don't know what even an Ironman is. So maybe what is it? What is the World Championships? How did you qualify? What did you have to do?
yeah. So, Kona is it's kind of the pinnacle, really, to Ironman. So an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike, and then a marathon straight after that. And so at each Ironman event, you can qualify to go to Kona. So if you they have different slots per race. So whatever slot allocation they have, if you are in that criteria, so it might be top 10, top whatever, then you qualify to go to Kona. And I went to Kona in 2023, but as I said, it was with the Ironman Foundation, which I will always be so grateful to them. And I think the work that they do is absolutely incredible. And I still support them now. So they buy bikes and swim lessons for children from disadvantaged backgrounds, which again, I think a lot of people don't know. And they support the volunteers in race communities, which we all know that if volunteers weren't there, then races wouldn't happen. And so I raced with them the first time, but there was always that little itch that I wanted to qualify to get to Kona, so that I could say, and it's completely for me, but I can say, well, I earned that spot, and I did it. So I was like, oh, it will never happen. I've done a few Ironmans, but I'm not fast. I'm, not up there. And then, yeah, just completely out the blue, kind of crossed the finish line, and I was like, there's a chance that I might have. I don't know. And you don't know until you know the slot allocations when you're there. And if somebody, for example, already has a slot at Kona, because they may well do, then their slot will roll down.
Wow.
And that's with the old qualification. The new qualification that's coming in now is slightly different to that. But previously, that's how it's worked. And so I said to my husband, I was like, can we go to the award ceremony, just to see? And so we went, and yeah, I was like, it's happening. This is like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And yeah, I was framed the certificate, and it was next to my bed, because I just don't believe that I actually did it. And little old me, who had, never ridden a road bike, never really sea swam, but yeah, I did it. And so I qualified. So that then means that you get to go to the World Championships, which is in Kona. It's 3 weeks today, actually, as of the time we're recording this.
Oh my
But
gosh.
Kona is where Ironman first started. So it was where the very first race was. So there's a lot of heritage.
Yeah.
Um, and it's where all the pros are. So, all Lisa Charles Barkley and Chelsea Sodaro,
Yeah.
everybody will be there. And I think that's one of the things I love about Ironman, is you get to race on the same circuit as, some of the best with no pressure. There's no expectation that you have to do a certain, obviously you have to meet cutoff times, but you can race alongside people who are so inspiring. And yeah, so 3 weeks today, hopefully I will be nearly finishing. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. That wow, that's so incredible. Very, very, very well done to you.
Oh, thank you.
What
I
what
still can't
what
believe it.
what time does you have to get that? Because for the whole Ironman, you have 17 hours, don't you? Or is it 16 to 17 hours depending on?
Yeah, 16 to 17 hours, depending on which race you do. So some
Yeah.
races are the 16, some are the full 17. I'm just actually getting the time up, because I can't actually remember what I did Leeds in the end. Might need to edit this bit.
Yeah. Cut that
So
one in.
Leeds actually was one of my slowest, and I did it in 14 hours, 6 minutes.
Wow.
But I think with the course, because it is one of the highest elevation on the bike, and I've done Nice Ironman, and actually it was more than Nice.
Oh my God.
And I would say, in terms of elevation, it was harder than Nice, because it's lapped. Whereas Nice, you're up in the mountains, and you're looking across, and there's snow-capped mountains, and it's just beautiful.
Wow.
It's stunning. But yeah, so it wasn't my fastest, and that's just goes to show, you don't have to be the fastest, and you can still qualify. And as I say, they're changing the qualification and timing, so that time probably wouldn't get me a qualification with the new qualification schedule, as they are changing it. But yeah, I'll take it when I did it.
You take it, and you earned it. That is absolutely incredible. How did it feel, like when they called out your name? Were you just like shocked?
I was genuinely, yeah, I was just in so much shock. My little girl and my husband were there. And I mean, my little girl was buzzing, because they were giving out the Hawaiian leis,
Oh,
the flowers. And she was like, Mummy, will you get a lei? And I was like, yeah, she's like, can you choose the colour? I was like, I'm really not worried about the colour right now, but I'll try and get you the pink one. But yeah, I was genuinely, it was more so because you're just in the moment, and the adrenaline's going. It was more when I was driving back from Leeds that I was just sat in the car thinking, I did it, and I can't believe that I did it. And yeah, I'm proud of myself, and compared to where I was. And that's what I mean, in terms of, actually, it was, the postnatal depression was such a dark and horrible, horrible time, but I've had the best time since because of it. So I can't complain.
wow. Was there ever a time in any of your races where you thought you either didn't finish, or you were scared you weren't going to finish?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think most of the races. I mean, I think all of them. I've always focused on. I was like, no, I'm going to finish, and was telling myself that. But every single one, you hit that point. And I think in each of the disciplines, like when you're swimming, when you're biking, and when you're running, there's a moment where you're thinking, this is hard. And I think all the pros say it as well. I think the distances are so big that I think you're a bit of a machine and a robot if you don't hit that point, for sure. Um, but definitely, in Leeds, that third time up Black Hill was, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm actually going to
Oh,
just I'm just going to fall off my bike and slide to the bottom.
oh my
Um,
gosh.
and often in the run, you hit mile 18 and you're thinking, I've got another 8 miles to go. It's exhausting, but that's where the crowds, that's where your family being there, and that's where your why will get you through. And having that reason for why you're racing, and that might just be because you're desperate to do an Ironman. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate or anything traumatic or anything like that. It's just having your reason that will carry you through. And but yeah, I definitely hit that spot and thought I'm not going to get there, but you just have to keep taking that step, as I said, and keep going one step at a time.
What do you say to yourself in your head, when you hit that wall or when you get to that point where you just, oh, you physically can't go on? Like, what should you have a mantra or?
For me, it's literally picturing my husband and my little girl at the end.
Oh,
And I just focus on them and just think about them over and over. And I'm like, if anything, I tell myself, I'm feeling this. This is breaking me, but I just want to see their faces, and so I'm gonna keep going because I want to see their faces at the end.
oh, oh,
Um, but it can be anything. It's I know one of my athletes who I was talking to, they were like, my thing that I focus on is the glass of champagne at the end. And I was like, yep, I can resonate with that. I can definitely I understand that if you want that glass of champagne. But just focus on your why, just focus on, what is important to you, and all else fails, just try and distract yourself. Look around where you are. Definitely in Kona, I was just having to, I was struggling, and I just was like, Jen, come on, look where you are. It's the most beautiful place. And I think, again, the beauty of Ironman or any long distance triathlon is that you get to see places that you wouldn't normally see. It's not your typical day that you go 112 miles around Nice or around Kona or wherever you are, or around Leeds. So it's just, yeah, reminding yourself to look up and just take in that atmosphere.
yeah. I think that's something that's very easy to forget,
Yeah,
especially when you're like chasing a goal. A lot of people kind of get stuck in like, I want to get this certain time, and like if I don't hit this, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself. But like, wow, you've got to do something that not everyone can physically do. Like maybe some people will never get to do
absolutely.
that. And like you said, take
Yeah.
in the scenery and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the big thing, is the reminder that there's so many people who would love to do something like
Yeah.
this, and they physically can't. And so yeah, I'm even when I'm absolutely hating it, in so much pain, I'm like, Jen, you're lucky to be in this situation. So trying to remind that. And again, I think that's where the community comes in, because there's some people on Ironmans who are very much, no, they're in the zone, head down, and you respect that. But there's other people who are very much like, they just want to have a chat along the way. And there's times when I'm like, no, I'm in too much pain, I just need to head down. But there's other times when, a guy cycled up to me in Leeds, and he was like, those guys in front are having a chat. Shall we have a chat? I was like, yeah, sure. And so, and you meet some incredible people along the way. And weirdly, one of the guys I was speaking to knew somebody who I knew. And that then distracted me for 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, brilliant. I'm over that tough spot. And it's kept me going. So again, the race community massively helps.
And you do coaching now, don't you, as well?
Yeah, so I was loving doing triathlon so much, and I was like, if I could do this as a job, but
Oh,
also I was really wanting to help people who might be struggling, and people who, if they have this dream of wanting to do an Ironman, then I was very lucky that I had a brilliant coach who helped me. And I was like, I just want to be able to help other people. And again, in a very male dominated world, there are female coaches out there and brilliant ones. But somebody who's a mum, somebody who's also working, and I just wanted to help show that it is possible, and it's possible to do a sprint triathlon. It's possible to do an Olympic, whatever the distance. It is achievable, even if you have a child and a job, or you're working shifts or whatever. So yeah, I went and did my qualification and passed that, and yeah, so I'm now linked with Tridot, which is an online AI software, which
oh
again,
wow.
I know a lot of people are a bit skeptical about, but seeing the technology and the amounts of people's data that they use, so it's not just relying on the AI, it's using real life, day-to-day people's data to create training plans. And actually, the coaches that I've met through Tridot have been amazing and really supportive, because I definitely had imposter syndrome where I was like, I shouldn't be here. This is so new. But they've been great and really welcoming. And yeah, I've got my kind of first few athletes. So I think I've got about six now, which is
Yay.
amazing. And actually, one of them, as of now that we're recording, she's doing her first Ironman. I should be
Oh,
crossing the line in about an hour. So I'm like sitting here. I feel like a nervous mum.
yeah.
But it's so
Oh,
rewarding. It's just brilliant. It's so nice being able to turn something that's my passion into helping others achieve their goals. And yeah, I love it. It's great.
wow. I just think that's just so lovely to be able to do something that you really love doing. I can see
Yeah.
some trophies in the background. They're your trophies.
Oh, so yeah, those are my Ironman medals. Yes. So
Oh,
I've got my
amazing.
Kona medal and my Nice medal and Leeds, and actually my
Oh,
T100, because I did the T100 in London in the
how was
summer, and
that?
it was brilliant. It was a really good event. I would definitely again recommend it, because they do sprints, super sprints, Olympic, and the full as well. So whatever the distance, they cover it. And literally, I was so surprised. I came second in my age group. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at the app and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm second.
That's
So yeah,
incredible.
got on the podium for the first time. So that's my silver medal up there. Is that one?
Can I be really cheeky and ask how old are you? Or how young are you, if that's the best way to
How
say it?
young I am?
Yeah.
I'm just having to think here. 38. I'm 38.
Wow. So you're in, is it 35 to 40 age group?
Yeah,
Congratulations. That is
yeah.
bloody fantastic. Wow.
Oh,
Second.
thank you. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And actually, it was my 38th birthday the day I raced in Leeds. So
Oh,
I got my qualification on my 38th birthday, which was amazing. It was a lovely birthday present.
that is the best birthday present ever.
It was, yeah. Not sure I
Oh,
could beat that next
amazing.
year. We'll have to see.
Yeah, you've got big things to beat that now. And for your 40th as well, you've got to think of something really big.
Yeah, I don't know. I might leave that up to my husband.
Yeah, you got time. You got loads of time, yeah. So I'm gonna wrap up with some quick fire questions. Now, these are
Okay.
ones that I ask every guest, so it's nothing, no pressure. So the first one, do you have any rituals that you do daily?
Oh, rituals. I don't know that I do actually.
Or habits, or like, I don't know, anything that you do, like making your morning coffee in a certain way, or like,
Um, do you know what? I don't actually know. I think my big one is that just having my hugs with my little girl. I know that sounds very cliche as a mum, but
oh,
yeah, it would just be our habit of my ritual of just having a big hug with my little girl in the morning.
Oh, that's so lovely. And the
Other
thing
than
that
other than that, things are all a bit all over the place with work and training. So I don't have the routine because it's different every day.
the spice variety is the spice of life. That's what
It
they say.
really is. It is.
Yeah. What does wellness mean to you?
I think wellness to me just is when you feel yourself and happy in yourself, whether that be physically or whether that be mentally, is you just feeling you've got this and you're okay. I think that would be my overall wellness definition. Um, because yeah, if you're feeling happy, and it might not be the top of the world happiness, but if you're feeling like I'm at the right level, I'm good to go, then yeah, I would think that's wellness.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that as well, definitely. Is there a message or any tips or words of wisdom, anything at all that you would like to send out to our listeners?
I think for me is no matter where you are, what stage you're in your life, what you're going through, is, as I said with my little girl, and what we say is just to take a step and then take another step. If there's something that you want to do, then take that step towards it. And if you are feeling unwell or anything like that, then whether it be mentally or physically, it's just one step at a time. And it can be an incredibly slow process. And patience is definitely needed. But just take that one step at the time and don't be afraid to reach for goals that you think are unattainable. Like, I never thought any of this would be possible at all, like achieving an Ironman. I never thought it would be impossible. And yet to sit here and say I've done five, I've got my sixth in 3 weeks' time, and I'm now a coach. It's amazing how life can change very, very quickly. I'd never really even heard of Ironman up until a few years ago. And so you never know what's around the corner. So just keep taking a step forward.
Oh, that's so nice. And I think, like you said, sometimes it is really slow, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be like a big step. It could be a little tiny baby step, and like that's still a step forwards. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important to look back as well.
Mhm.
So to quite regularly look back, because those steps can be so tiny,
Mm.
that you don't necessarily see them when they're happening. But even to look back, for me, I would look back at the day when I was struggling, and I would be just, oh, I took that step to get out the door, and okay, that's the thing for today, and I'm proud of that. And as I say, then looking back larger scale to 6 years ago, taking those little tiny steps, and where I am now is a completely different person, but feeling so much better in myself, having that wellness. So yeah, don't be afraid to take those steps, but look back and be proud of how far you've come.
Oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. And how can our listeners connect with you?
So I have, well, when all this journey started, I set up my Instagram page, which is at iron_women_triathlon. So that's like my main page that I would recommend having a look at. But as I said, I've set up a podcast which is sharing the stories of people who have been through challenging times but overcome them, and working towards some great sporting finish lines, and that's the toughest finish line. So yeah, if anybody wants to have a listen, or there's an Instagram page on that, then give us a follow. But if anybody has any questions, I am open for anybody to message me at any time, yeah, if I can help with anything, because yeah, I had a lot of people help me get started, so it's nice to be able to repay that.
And that is true. I did message you as well,
You
asking so
did.
many random things about Ironman and cycling, and Jen has been so helpful. So thank you. Thank you so, so much for
You're
coming on
welcome.
the podcast. And I'll be sure to
Oh
link all of your
no, not a
socials
problem.
below. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming on. And to all our listeners, make sure you tune in next week.